back to the next video. In today's video I will show you how to integrate React Native, how to integrate Godot's game inside React Native's new architecture without any third-party library. So if you don't know what Godot is, so Godot is a game engine from which you can create games. And suppose you have a pretty simple game which is quite complicated to make in React Native but easy to make in Godot. What you can do that you can integrate that Godot game inside your existing React Native application. But there are few caveats. Currently I'm using React Native 73 and also I will be using the new architecture, but the documentation might change heavily once you like if you're watching this video in the future. And second thing is while integrating a Godot game inside your Android project, it makes use of something called Android fragments, and making Android fragments work in React Native's new architecture is little tough. Like I don't see any documentation of it as of yet at the time of this recording. Also I have raised a GitHub issue for it, but unfortunately that hasn't been resolved yet as well. The third thing is this video will be only for Android. I haven't still figured out how to do it for iOS because that is still pending on the Godot side, but maybe in future it will get resolved. So yeah, let's get started. So firstly I have created a React Native project. So how to come that fragment issue? So what I will do is I will create a turbo module. I won't create a fabric module. So what I will do, I will create a turbo module, and using that turbo module I will open a new activity, and inside that activity I can embed a fragment, how we do it in native Android development. So that's what I'm thinking, but if you have a better way of doing things, do let me know. Also there is another more important issue. Currently we can't the way turbo modules are created, like how the documentation says, we can't directly because the main activity we can't suppose I have another activity called main activity 2. I can't directly call the main activity 2 from my turbo modules because the turbo modules is a completely different npm package. So what I will be doing a little bit of hack. So what I will do inside my turbo module, I will ask for internet permission. I know internet permission we don't have to ask it manually, but I will ask for internet permission, and that callback will go to the main thread, to the main activity. And once we go to the main activity and once we get that the permission has been granted, then from that main activity we can call main activity 2. So that's my plan. If you have a better approach, do let me know. Currently there are also no documentation on how to directly integrate a turbo module inside the main Android folder of React Native. We have to create a separate module for it. So yeah, enough talk, let's get started. So I have already created a video on React Native of how to open a second activity, and I will be following that video a lot. But I would also recommend you follow this turbo native modules as well. Yeah, let's get started. So I will just open my repository. So for Android first we have to enable the new architecture. So I can just go over here, enable the new arc. I will make this as true. Okay, next we have to create a folder. Again this has been specified in the docs, so if you want you can go through the docs. So I will call it RTN my screen, and I'm using I think React Native 73. So it comes with Kotlin pre-configured, so I think at least it saves us that headache. I will open this in new tab as well. So first we have to create a package.json file. Again the content of this is copied from docs, so if you are curious you can copy it from that as well. Given that this is a first video of embedding Godot inside React Native, I'm showing you step by step, but in future video I will make it pretty quick. So I will just copy this, I'll paste it here. Now if you have changed the name of this folder, make sure you change it over here, you change it over here, and you change it over here as well as over here, otherwise you will get an issue. Okay, next is the podspec file. We don't really need this because it is iOS specific and our current video is only for Android, so we can ignore it. Next we require a JS folder as well as an Android folder, so I will create this JS folder as well. Next we have to create a file called native myscreen.ts. Again the name is important. If you have changed the name of your main folder over this, you will have to change this name as well, so you can follow the documentation for that. And I'll copy everything. So here you can see the method name is only open screen, and if you have changed the folder name, this should be changed. So we will call this inside open screen, we will actually ask for internet permission, and that will give a callback to the main activity, and from that we will call the main activity 2, and the main activity 2 will embed the Godot fragment. So this is done. Next I will create an Android folder. Inside that I have to create build.gradle file, right? So I will go over here, I'll create a folder called Android. Inside that I will create build.gradle. And here again I will copy paste this code from docs, but if you want, you can refer the docs. And one more thing which I will do is I will update the Kotlin version to 1.8.20. also I will go to the main Android folder. Inside build.gradle I am using React Native 73, which comes with Kotlin pre-configured. That's why I will just update it to 1.8.20 as well. Okay, this is done. Next I will create all these folders: src, com, java, rt on my screen. Okay, so I will go to my Android folder, I'll create all these folders. Okay, there is one space here which I will remove. Okay, and I have created this folder. Next I will open my screen module.kt and my screen package.kt. I will again copy paste this file name. Again, if you have changed the folder name, you will have to change the file name as well as this rt and my screen folder which you have created. So you have to name it according to whatever the main folder name you have created. Again I will copy paste this. Again, this has been copied from docs. So what we are doing over here, we are just referencing my screen module over here, the my screen module file. So I will just create that as well, and that will actually ask for the internet permission, and it will implement the open screen method which we have created. So here you can see, again I will copy paste this. Okay, and here you can see we are asking for the internet permission. Now here you can see inside app src main android manifest.xml, make sure you have this internet permission over here. Next what you will have to do is you will have to open your terminal, then you will have to go to the directory where your project is created. So my project name is rnapp, that's why I have gone over here. Okay, next what I will do, I have, so here in the docs they have specified you have to run some commands so that code generation works for you. So that's what I'm doing over here. So I have written these commands over here. Again, you can find these commands inside the doc. You will have to run this command first. So I will go to the root of my React Native project, I'll run this command. Now we are getting this because this package log JSON is automatically created by React Native. I don't know why they were using yarn, I think previously. That's why we are getting all this warning, and these warnings are again related to React Native. I don't have anything to do with this. Previously from like up till 72 I was not getting this warning. Like from 73 I have started getting this warning. I think they need to update their internal course, internal libraries I mean. So what I'll do is I will just delete this package log.json because we don't need this, because we are using yarn. So I'll just delete it, and we'll just wait till this is completed. After that we'll have to run this command. So I'll just make sure this command is proper as well. So I'll just copy it inside VS Code. I will just remove this comments thing because you want to run this command. Okay, sorry, run this. So this is our command, but make sure instead of rnapp you write your React Native project name. So my React Native project name is rnapp. So rnapp and followed by the folder name which we have created. So I'll just copy this. Okay, this has already run. I will run this one more time because there was some issue of this package log it was complaining about. Just to be on the safer side, I will run it again. Okay, that has finished. Now I will have to do cd dot dot, and I will just copy paste this command. Okay, I'll and click on enter. Okay, the code gen was done successfully. I will move back again to our React Native project. Then you will have to move to the Android folder. Okay, and inside the documentation you should see a command saying so this is will do like all the Gradle syncing for our Android turbo module. So I will just run this. So my Gradle command has ran successfully. Next, what I have done is that I have just created helpful tips for myself on how to embed a Godot project inside an Android project. Like I will show you the actual documentation as well. So here is the actual documentation. You can go through this. It is on the Godot engine documentation. But I don't want to read all this documentation in the video itself. That's why I have created all the helper methods for this, like helper sentences for this. Next, what I have done is I have opened the Android folder inside Android Studio. Now if you remember, we get the main callback inside the main activity. Now let me just first check whether the code is fine or not. If it is not, then we might see some error. Yeah, it's fine. Next I will go to app main activity over here. Now I'll go to my source code again, and first I'll just copy some bit of code as well. I'll go to Android app src main Java main activity. So here you can see, so again we are writing the same bit of code which we have written it on the inside our turbo module, because we want the internet permission. Just want to check the internet permission. I don't know why this is showing error. Android.manifest. Okay, next I will just override this as well. I'll just copy paste it. So here I will just add this import. We haven't created our main activity 2 yet. Okay, like if you want to handle this else clause you can, but like user does not have to allow the explicit internet permission. It is given to us automatically as long as we have defined that permission inside Android manifest. Now I will create main activity 2. So I'll just right click new activity. Okay, empty views activity. Okay, I will name it as main activity, and I will name this as also main activity 2, right? Okay, I mean you can name it whatever you want, just don't name it main activity. Okay, I'll click on finish. Okay, yeah, don't ask again, add. Okay, so this has created my main activity 2. I will go over here. Now first what you have to do, you will have again this I have just copy pasted from Godot's documentation, like a tongue twister. The name is I think it's a French name, that's why I'm finding it difficult to say. Like some people say Godot, it is Godot. Like pronounce whatever you want to, I don't really care. Okay, so next what we'll have to do, we'll just copy paste this, but here you can see this config change. This is already present inside our React Native project, so we don't need this, but we will add this screen orientation. Okay, next what we'll have to do is we have to add this implementation. So at the time of this recording, the version of Godot which I am using is 4.2.0, but if you are using another version, like higher version of Godot in future, make sure you check what is the version of this library on Maven Central. So you can find this library on Maven Central, and I can just go to over here, I can go to Gradle.scripts, and I can just go over here and I'll add this dependency. Okay, wait, don't click sync now. So again I have to add this bit of code as well. So there is one I think issue in the documentation of Godot, like they have mentioned that instead of Android resources you have to use apt options, but apt options is deprecated. That's why I'm using Android resources. Maybe in the future the documentation might get updated. So here you have to go to default config. Okay, and add this bit of code. Then I'll click on sync now. Next, inside our main activity 2, we have to create this frame layout. Okay, so I'll just go over here. Okay, res layout, go to activity underscore main, and here it has created constraint layout for us, and I'll just add this frame layout. I will occupy the entire width and height, but if you don't want to, then you can specify what width and height you want. Okay, if you don't want constraint layout, you can use linear layout as well. I'll just keep it as default. Constraint parent, constraint end to end of parent, constraint top to top of parent, constraint bottom to bottom of parent. So now it has occupied the entire width and height, and if you see the design, okay, you can't see anything in the design. Now we don't have any issues inside our main activity. And now I'll go to main activity 2, and let's see what it says. Okay, we have created, forget about this button, like this button where I have created this because I wanted to send some signals from native Android to Godot as well. Like this would make the tutorial extremely complicated, that's why I'm keeping it simple. Next, we have to extend or implement this Godot host. I will add implement class, then we will have to implement some methods as well. Okay, and we have done that. Next, what it says that we have to create this Godot fragment. So I'll just copy paste this. Again, I have just copy pasted this code from the documentation. I will import this as well. Then we don't require all this stuff, we require this stuff. Okay, so I'll just copy paste this, and I will do this. Okay, so this is done as well. So basically what it does is that it creates a current Godot fragment, and it takes the ID which we have defined it inside our frame layout. So if you see over here, we have defined this ID. Okay, so it creates a fragment based on this. So this was the most difficult part to figure it out using Fabric. That's why I've used turbo modules and used this hack of asking internet permission and then opening a second activity. Okay, next I will just copy this. Okay, and I will replace this get activity by this. Okay, and here you can replace this as well. Okay, this is done. Now we don't require this as well as this because we are not sending any signals. Now what it says, okay, we don't require this as well. Next, we have to create a Godot project inside the assets folder. So I will just open our Android Studio. I will click on our app. I will click new folder, assets folder. I will click on finish. Okay, so if you see, it has created an assets folder over here. Now what you will have to do, open your Godot Godot game engine, and create a project inside it, but make sure you don't create any subfolder. So inside assets folder, don't create like my Godot game, and inside that you will have all the files. All the files of Godot game of your Godot game should be inside the assets folder. So I will quickly create one simple game, like not a game but a project, and I will show you how it should look inside the assets folder. So I have created my Godot project inside the assets folder. So you can see over here, like this red thing is because I haven't added it to version control, but you can add it to version control. So this is how your game should look like the project structure, I mean. Now if I open my Godot project inside my Godot engine, so here you can see I have added this GLB model because I am going to make a simple game where I will just display this GLB model, but this game logic can be anything. You can do whatever you want, like whatever your game actually does. So I will just create a 3D scene over here. Let's see what the documentation says. So we have created your Godot project. Okay, add a world environment. I will just simply create, because I am not an expert in Godot, so I'll just add this scene. Then I will add environment to scene. Then I will also add a camera. New. I'm showing you a 3D game because like that would be a little like the procedure remains same for a 2D or 3D game. It's just that people would mostly use Godot for rendering 3D stuff. Okay, I have moved our camera. Then I have added this GLTF model, GLB model. If you don't know GLB, like they are just 3D model which you can render it inside your game. And I would like to thank Kenny NL for this. And if you want the from where I have downloaded, you can just go over here. So this is Kenny's food kit pack. Inside that you can go to GLB folder and download it. This is like it's your game, do whatever you want to. Next, what it says is, okay, we have done this. Okay, now we will save this. I will name it as node.tscn. Okay, that's fine. Next, I will click on this. I'll click a script. I will name it as whatever it is. Okay, next I will just copy paste this logic. Now don't ask me for the logic. All we are doing is that we are just rendering the 3D model. Okay, so I will just copy paste. Okay, and I'll remove the unnecessary stuff. So we don't require this because we are not sending data to and forth from the native Android app to Godot. And my so I will just render apple over here because that is the name of my GLB model. And okay, and here what I'm doing, I'm rotating my apple by 3 like rotating every seconds, like every frame per second. And I don't, so here also we don't need this because we don't need this because if you noticed, our GLTF models are directly present inside the res folder. So that's how the path is. Okay, now what we'll do is, let's see what the go to project settings window. Okay, project settings. Now I will just search for window. Now because I am rendering it on an Android device, you can set the width and height according to your convenience, like however your good your game looks like. So I will just set width as 400, height as 800. Okay, maybe I'll set it at 1200. Okay, what else? And orientation I will set it as portrait, but again it depends on you how you want your game to be. If you are making your game to be landscape, then make sure you set the orientation on the native Android side as landscape as well. I think that has to be changed inside Android manifest. You can just do a normal Google search for this. Okay, now first let's run this project in Godot to see. Okay, let's select current. Just we want to see whether, okay, here you can see I'm able to render my apple. Now what I will do is, all you have to do is just connect your Android device, or you can I would recommend against testing it on on your emulator, because you might not get good performance or it might cause some issue. Test it on a real device. So I will quickly connect my real device to this and show it to you guys. Okay guys, so there is one more thing which I forgot to tell you. So inside app.tsx we have to actually use this library. So I have imported our library, and here you can see I have just created touchable opacity button, and on press of that button I am just calling the open screen method which we have created. Now the moment of truth. So here you can see the open activity button, and if I click on it, you will see a black screen and you will have to wait for a few seconds. And here you can see, here is our Godot game running inside React Native. So yeah, that's it. Now some of you might be like not really happy with the performance. So let me tell you that firstly I'm running inside debug mode. You can greatly optimize your performance for React Native by running it inside release mode. That's one thing. There is another documentation on Godot which I don't have right now. Like you will have to search to the Godot docs on how to optimize your game. So currently we are, I think, given that we are inside the debug mode, we are like shipping everything related to our 3D rendering engine inside this particular game. But you don't have to do that. Like you can strip out features of this Godot 3D rendering. Like you will have to check the docs for that on how to do that. And also one more thing, like my Android device is 3 years old, like it's 3.5 years old now, and it's pretty cheap. Honestly, I'm really happy that this really works good. And one more thing I want to identify, like the output might be a little laggy to you because I have connected via Wi-Fi debugging. That's the reason why. But when I see it on my real device, like it's pretty smooth. Yeah, so that's it. I know a few people might not be happy because I have used this hack way of asking for internet permission. Again, that's nothing to do with Godot. That's a React Native issue, I think. If you know how to resolve that hacky way of asking internet permission, or I think in future versions of React Native, the documentation will get better. I think the new architecture is still a little bit of experimental stage, but yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.